For more than 5 decades, Goldie Hawn has been Hollywood's golden light, radiant, joyful, and endlessly beloved. Her laugh, her warmth, her unapologetic honesty, few stars have managed to stay so loved for so long. But at 80 years old, the actress who spent her life bringing happiness to millions has just made a startling revelation, one that has left fans stunned and the entertainment world buzzing. In a recent private conversation that quickly spread among insiders, Goldie opened up about something most celebrities avoid discussing: her own funeral. And with surprising clarity, she revealed that there is one person she absolutely does not want anywhere near it. Not a former co-star. Not a producer. Not even an old flame. But someone much closer, someone whose presence would turn her final goodbye into a deeply painful reminder of past wounds she has spent decades trying to heal. Those close to her say this isn't about pettiness. It isn't about Hollywood drama. It's about betrayal, deep, emotional, unforgettable betrayal. A wound that, even after years of reflection and forgiveness, still sits raw in her heart. And now, as she reflects on her life, her legacy, and the memories she wants to leave behind, Goldie is drawing a line with surprising firmness. What happened between Goldie Hawn and this person? How did a relationship once filled with trust collapse into quiet resentment? And why is Goldie so determined to exclude them from the most sacred moment of her life? For most of her life, Goldie Hawn has been known for her infectious laugh, her sparkling optimism, and her ability to turn even the darkest moments into stories of hope. Fans see her as the embodiment of sunshine, someone who radiates joy effortlessly. But behind that light, there have always been shadows Goldie doesn't often speak about. At 80 years old, with a lifetime of triumphs and heartbreaks behind her, she has finally begun to open up about one of the most painful chapters of her life, and why she refuses to let that pain follow her into her final farewell. It all goes back decades, to a relationship that shaped her both as a woman and as a mother. Goldie has always been fiercely protective of her children, Kate, Oliver, and Wyatt, and her long partnership with Kurt Russell became a cornerstone of stability after years of navigating Hollywood's chaos. But long before Kurt entered her life, Goldie lived through a turbulent period marked by broken trust and emotional turmoil. And at the center of that turmoil was someone she once hoped would be a loving, dependable presence. That person was Bill Hudson, her ex-husband and the biological father of Kate and Oliver. To this day, the wounds from that fractured relationship still linger. Goldie rarely speaks about it publicly, she prefers peace over conflict, but the tension has never fully dissolved. Bill Hudson's estranged relationship with his children has been a source of heartbreak for decades, culminating in very public moments of hurt that Goldie has silently carried. One of the most painful events occurred years ago when Bill declared publicly that he no longer considered Kate or Oliver his children. For Goldie, a woman who devoted her life to nurturing love and connection in her family, this was more than a headline, it was a shattering blow. She stood by her children as they processed the rejection, and she watched them heal in their own ways, but the damage had already dug deep. Now, at 80, Goldie is entering a reflective chapter, one where she thinks not only about the life she lived, but about the memories she wants her family to hold after she's gone. Those close to her say that her feelings today are not rooted in anger. They're rooted in protection. Goldie doesn't want her final moments overshadowed by old scars. She wants her farewell to be a place of unity, love, and healing. And in her heart, she knows that the presence of the man who hurt her children would bring anything but peace. There's also the quiet truth Goldie rarely discusses: she, too, was deeply hurt by Bill. Their marriage, once hopeful, quickly fell under the weight of mistrust and emotional strain. Goldie tried to build something lasting, but she often felt alone, unsupported, undervalued, and emotionally drained. When the marriage finally collapsed, she vowed never to let her children feel that same sense of abandonment. But as the years unfolded, she watched that cycle repeat in ways she couldn't stop. Her decision now, who she wants and doesn't want at her funeral, is not made out of bitterness. It is made out of clarity. At 80, Goldie understands better than ever what brings her peace, and what steals it away. And for her, the line is unmistakably clear. She does not want Bill Hudson at her funeral. Not because she hates him, but because she refuses to let the pain of the past intrude on the peace of her final goodbye. Goldie Hawn's relationship with her children has always been at the heart of her life. She has long been admired not just as an actress, but as a mother fiercely devoted to Kate Hudson, Oliver Hudson, and Wyatt Russell. Her career has spanned decades of glitz, fame, and Hollywood scrutiny, yet Goldie has always made it clear that nothing, no movie, no award, no role, matters more than her family. And it is this fierce devotion that has shaped her feelings about who should and shouldn't attend her funeral. Throughout the years, Goldie has had to navigate the complexities of blended families, estranged parents, and the occasional public drama that inevitably comes with fame. Her children's relationships with their father, Bill Hudson, have been strained and, at times, almost non-existent. While Goldie has repeatedly encouraged understanding and attempted to mediate where possible, the truth is that Bill has never been a consistent, loving presence in their lives. Kate Hudson, in particular, has spoken publicly about the challenges of growing up with a father who was distant at best and absent at worst. Oliver Hudson, too, has had to grapple with mixed emotions regarding Bill's limited involvement. Goldie has quietly carried the weight of ensuring that her children felt loved and protected, even as they confronted the harsh reality of an absent father. Friends close to Goldie say that this protective instinct is what drives her decision. This decision also reflects Goldie's broader philosophy on life. She has always been candid about the importance of boundaries, self-respect, and emotional honesty. While she forgives and strives to leave negativity behind, she recognizes that closure doesn't mean inviting everyone into every moment, especially moments meant to honor her and her life. By excluding Bill Hudson, she is drawing a clear line. Her final farewell is about celebration, not reconciliation. At 80, Goldie is more reflective than ever. She considers not only her own peace but the emotional well-being of those she loves most. And in doing so, she is setting an example of courage and clarity, showing that it is possible to live a life of joy, protect the people you love, and make hard but necessary choices, even in matters of death. Goldie Hawn has always been a woman who lights up a room, both on screen and in real life. And now, she is taking steps to ensure that the space she leaves behind is filled with warmth, positivity, and love, without shadows from the past creeping in. Goldie Hawn has spent a lifetime as Hollywood's embodiment of joy, yet her public persona has often masked the emotional hardships she endured behind the scenes. Fame and success didn't shield her from betrayal, heartbreak, or the struggles of complicated family dynamics. And as she reflects on her life at 80, she's become unflinchingly honest about the experiences that shaped her, and the people who caused her lasting pain. Her marriage to Bill Hudson was meant to be a partnership of love and stability, yet it quickly became a source of emotional strain. Friends recall that even at the height of their union, Goldie was carrying the weight of disappointment and frustration largely alone. Bill was inconsistent, emotionally distant, and, according to insiders, failed to prioritize their children in a meaningful way. While Goldie tried to make the marriage work, she was left to pick up the pieces of both her own heart and her children's. Even after the divorce, the consequences of that relationship lingered. Public disputes over custody, limited communication, and occasional bitterness created an environment that Goldie had to navigate carefully to protect her children's emotional well-being. Despite her sunny disposition, she bore a deep and private sorrow, a mix of grief, frustration, and a lingering sense of betrayal. Yet throughout it all, Goldie demonstrated resilience. She channeled her pain into her work, her charitable efforts, and her dedication to her children. She became a role model not just for aspiring actresses but for women navigating complex relationships. It is this long history of protective love and measured forgiveness that informs her recent decision about her funeral. Goldie is painfully aware of the potential tension Bill Hudson's presence could bring. She is also deeply aware of the emotional impact that such a confrontation could have on her family. Her choice is not motivated by bitterness, it is a final act of care, a boundary set to ensure that her last goodbye remains a moment of peace and reflection, rather than conflict and pain. Friends close to Goldie emphasize that she has made similar boundary-driven choices throughout her life. From career decisions to personal relationships, she has consistently prioritized authenticity and emotional health over pleasing others. At 80, she sees her funeral as the ultimate expression of that philosophy, a space where love, laughter, and remembrance take precedence over old wounds. For Goldie, this is about legacy. Her story is not only about films and awards, it is about the values she instilled in her children, the joy she brought to the world, and the lessons she learned through decades of navigating both happiness and heartbreak. By defining the terms of her farewell, she ensures that her final act is consistent with the life she has led, radiant, intentional, and full of love for those who matter most. At 80, Goldie Hawn is approaching a stage of life where reflection becomes inevitable. She has seen the highs and lows of Hollywood, experienced the thrill of success, the sting of disappointment, and the heartbreak of family estrangement. Now, as she contemplates her final farewell, she is determined to shape it in a way that reflects the life she truly wants to leave behind, a life of joy, warmth, and love, untainted by lingering pain. Goldie has always been a master of balancing humor and honesty. Her public image is one of laughter and lightness, but those closest to her know that behind the radiant smile lies a woman of remarkable depth and discernment. She understands that a funeral is not just a ceremony, it is a culmination of a life lived, a moment for family and friends to honor her legacy and find closure. In her mind, this final chapter must be protected from disruption, resentment, or any force that could overshadow the peace she has worked so hard to create. Her decision to exclude Bill Hudson from the event is a testament to that clarity. This is not an act of vengeance or malice, it is a carefully considered boundary meant to preserve the sanctity of the occasion. Goldie wants her children and grandchildren to remember her with smiles, laughter, and warmth, not discomfort or unresolved conflict. She wants her funeral to be a sanctuary, a place where those who truly supported and loved her can gather without shadows from the past creeping in. Friends who have spoken with her recently. In many ways, Goldie Hawn's decision is a profound reflection of her lifelong philosophy, that life is too short to dwell on negativity, and that one must protect one's peace even in the face of complex family dynamics. By taking control of her funeral, she is asserting agency over the last page of her story, ensuring it aligns with the legacy she wishes to leave. This final act also serves as a lesson to her family and fans. It is possible to live a life of love and forgiveness while still recognizing the importance of boundaries. Goldie is showing that protecting oneself and one's loved ones is not only necessary but also a deeply compassionate choice. As the world continues to admire Goldie Hawn for her films, laughter, and enduring charisma, her most profound legacy may be this: the courage to create a life, and a final farewell, that reflects her values, honors her heart, and ensures that even at the end, she remains in control of her story. Her decision is clear, her message is firm, and her final goodbye will be hers, and hers alone.